So I'm just going to address just a few things. First of all, just wanted to talk about a standard channel, and some people, there's been quite a few number of people who have talked about this in the past and made videos, several different people, and they say they can get zero detailing with a standard channel. So it's sort of done with a very steep maneuver, and it doesn't always work. So these windows here, they're quite easy to work on. I'm getting a pretty good edge in here, but if I was to do this same technique on the other side of the window, as you've seen in previous videos, this will stab right inside in between the glass and the frame. Secondly, although I'm getting a pretty decent edging on this window, quite often to get the proper edging you've got to go up and down several times, because it's not going to catch everything all the time. And then you've got the other windows where it just doesn't work. So how are you saving time doing this? Well, in some scenarios, yes, but overall you're still working harder than what you need to. So I've got detailing here, you might pick it up, there you go. So you're making more moves over the glass just to get a zero detail, and well, you can give yourself a pat on the back for getting a zero detail, but the time it took you to get that result, you could have just worked normally and then used a rag to detail the edge. So the idea of having a liquidator is anybody with any sort of skill, novice, intermediate or high level, as long as you've got the right soap solution on the glass, you can get a one pass, and it's designed to take the water off the edge and into the corners with a one pass. So you get the zero detailing, but you get it in a one pass instead of doing it maybe once, twice, 3, 4 times if you're lucky with a normal standard channel, and you're just spending a lot of time at the edges doing this. It's not really feasible. Right, so secondly, when I talk about being quicker, 2, 3, 4, 5, why am I saying 2, 3, 4, 5? Well, because I'm comparing myself to someone or a situation that I used to be in at one time. So if I'm comparing myself to Sloppy Mick and Ugly Alan, guys who work in my areas, in my local area, window cleaning, we're talking 100%. They get the job done 100%. It all looks fine. At the end of the day, when they've done all the work, the job looks good. But it's taken them a very long time to get to that final position of having the windows look in a very good state. So I'm actually maybe 6 or 7 times quicker than Alan, and 8 times quicker than Mick. So it all depends who I'm comparing myself to. So if I compare myself to, well, most YouTube window cleaners, they're on YouTube for a reason, because they're good at what they do. They have some sort of talent, and all the talent, all the knowledge that they've got allows them to work a lot better than Mick and Alan. They just work on very simple, straightforward residential jobs, and they take forever to do it, and they've got maybe one tool or maybe 2 tools, 2 squeegees, and that's what they do for the whole 8 hours of working. Whereas the people on YouTube tend to have much more equipment, much more skill and talent. So if I was to compare myself to any of these guys, then I'm not 5 times quicker. I might be are half times quicker than some people, depending on what sort of job they're doing. And I'll explain that in a minute. I could be 3 times faster or 2 times faster. So, and unless I'm comparing it to myself, and I've made a video, I forgot what it's called. It was a music video where I'm using a squeegee, a normal standard brass squeegee, or two standard squeegees, working on a home, and I do it one way, and then I do the windows again, the same windows with a liquidator, and you know I'm knocking off 30, 40 minute and 16 seconds of each individual window that I'm working on, because all the windows are different. They've all got different units in. So if I'm comparing myself to somebody or a situation that I was in, then I can say I'm 3 times quicker, or I'm two times quicker. So I don't just say I'm 5 times quicker, because that's not being honest. So when I talked about just a minute ago about on certain jobs I'll be quicker than on others. Well, I always try to aim for 100%, or as close as possible to 100% on residential work and also on commercial work. Now we know that most window cleaners who do commercial work, they tend to be a bit of a slack. They like miss corners, or have a little splodge here and a little drip here and a little drag mark here. It's okay because the customer's not going to see it. So as I said, I'm comparing myself to somebody, but also I'm comparing myself. Maybe I'm going to be 100%, or I'm aiming for 100%, but the other people are not 100%. They could be 85% to 90%. So if they're working at that sort of percentage, they're actually working quicker because they're cutting corners. But if they were to these window cleaners, whoever it is, highly talented, and they're using standard sort of tools, if they're doing a job, exactly the same job that I'm doing on a home, and on a home you have to work at a higher level, it needs to be more aimed at 100%, because you're doing someone's home and you're not doing a business. So you take more time, you make sure everything's more perfect on the finished job, but they're going to work longer for it, they're going to work harder for it. But because I only aim for 100% on the glass, I don't really work any faster or slower on residential or on commercial. The only thing that I will be slack on, which we don't really talk about, is maybe on commercial work I won't be concentrating as much on the frames. But on people's homes, you know, we tend to clean the whole window, not just the glass. But I'm basically talking about cleaning the glass 100% with the squeegee, the liquidator. So I can say, well, I'm 3 times quicker. That for whoever I'm talking about, if I'm comparing myself to. But when it comes to commercial work, then I'm only half a times quicker, because you know it's comparing someone working at a different level. If they have to, if it was an equal thing where it has to be 100% all the time, them and me, then you know I'm more looking at maybe 2.5, 3. But you have to bear in mind that it fluctuates. So that's why I don't say I'm 5 times quicker or I'm 7 times quicker, and just use Mick as an example. I say maybe 2, 3, 4. And if you're comparing it against yourself, I know exactly how fast I was, or how quick, and how I was doing things 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm comparing myself to that. And I know how much I was earning per hour back then, and I know how much I'm earning now, and it's 2.5 up to 3 times or more on certain jobs that are well priced. I'm earning 2, 3 times more. So you know, I'm not bullshitting. It's just maybe I should have explained that a little bit better. But anyway, there's the information. I've got another video which is going to talk about polling and the problems that people can often have with polling, and working on very stubborn, tricky windows. And that's basically it. So this was an addendum, an added video that I wanted to shove in just to clarify working with a standard squeegee and why I think it's pretty much pointless to try and get a zero detail with a standard squeegee. The only thing you're going to give yourself is a pat on the back for achieving zero detailing results on that particular frame, and you're not going to get that results on maybe on the other side. You're not, because it's just going to jab in. So it's not a full answer, and if you're working harder for it, there's no you know, it's all about saving time, not just achieving zero detailing. Right, so speak to you soon.